Okay, should be live. I'm hoping so. I'm just going to flick over to YouTube and double check we are good to go. Just bear with me. It's always the worst thing having to flick between so many different things. Yeah, it seems like we're live. Just bear with me. 1 second, I'll mute myself. Awesome. All right, so it looks like we're good to go. Yeah, so welcome back to the show. I'm just, looking to make a video on this sort of decent Monday evening. Straight after the weekend, caught up with a shit fucking ton of boxing, and let's just have a bit of a chat. Wasn't able to fulfill it in a video. I felt like I would have just gone on and on and on and on. So I thought, you know what, why not go live? We haven't done one of these in absolutely ages. Fuck it. You know what I mean? It is almost midnight, but you know what? Don't care. I'll figure out a way to wake up tomorrow, as I always fucking do. So yeah, as I said, we're just gonna crack on, keep doing what we're doing, and yeah, let's talk the boxing. We're gonna discuss sort of tonight Tyson Fury, Josh Warrington, the decision, the aftermath, Fury Wilder, potentially Joshua. They've all been in the news. Jarrell Miller, all the heavyweights. A lot of news about the heavyweights recently. Been asked a lot of questions in person and a few over social media in regards to Tyson Fury and other heavyweights. Sort of how I see the heavyweight landscape at the moment. We're going to talk some lighter weights as well. Sort of what fights I'm looking forward to seeing. What some of the fighters that I'm very interested in and seeing what sort of path they take. So just kind of see where things go with the show. Obviously, it's just there's no sort of set format here. Just going to talk as much boxing as we can. I'd say keep it towards sort of the midnight period. Give us about half an hour or so. So it shouldn't be too bad. It shouldn't be too bad. We have one person watching. Whoever you are, shout out you. Just pop something in the chat. You are a fucking legend. So respect to you, whoever you are watching. Well, I want to start with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, of course, beats Tom Schwartz in 2 rounds, knocks him out. Can't say I didn't see this coming. Didn't really think he'd win by knockout, but I thought he'd win a pretty easy points decision. I guess that shows the level of Tom Schwartz. We kind of know that he's not, he's nowhere near the level of a Tyson Fury. He is definitely one of the premier boxers currently. I think, for a heavyweight that has that sort of style, moves the way he does. Honestly, it's godly. It is really, really, really top notch. The skill involved in what he does and the way he makes certain opponents look is outrageous. It really, really is. And I've been asked sort of all week, leading up to the fight, before the fight, after the fight, during the fight, you name it. I've been asked sort of what are my thoughts on Tyson Fury, and I've always sort of said, at a certain point in time, maybe he was easier work for Joshua at that time, but a fully fit Tyson Fury, a real on his game Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight in the world. I've said that to a lot of people in person as well, and I had a bet riding on with a friend of mine. Saying, Fury Wilder, I knew Fury was going to win the fight. I knew it. I knew Wilder was going to beat him. No matter, Wilder has that God-given strength, but Fury, he just really came with a swagger and a confidence, and he really carried himself like he believed in himself. And I think a lot of him getting off the canvas was just crazy, but it was just real self-belief. I think he really, really believed in himself, and he really showed the world that he is a top fighter. And Tetley, hello to you. Hello to you. Sorry. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Do appreciate that, and for probably leaving a like as well. You're a legend. Have a good one, mate. But yeah, Fury, honestly, such a good fighter. Such a good fighter. He is him, Billy Joe. Ben Davison in the corner. Honestly, he's a fantastic trainer. He's a very, very good trainer. Glad he's probably getting the recognition now due to Tyson Fury, but he really done an admirable job in that Wilder fight. He really. He's done well since he's joined sort of the Fury camp. But yeah, I think he's an awesome fighter. It might sound like I'm sort of, it might sound like I'm sort of bigging him up or whatever you want to say. It's not that. It's when you see a class operator. For me, probably my favorite fighter to watch at the moment is probably Naoya Inoue or Inoue. He is fantastic. He honestly is one of the best fighters out there. His footwork is tremendous. His sort of lateral movement, his upper body movement, he bobs and weaves punches, and he picks his punches at the same time. He's very, very, very calculated, and he's like ridiculously heavy-handed. You can tell the snap on his work. He always has that sort of it's not just snap, it's sort of just raw natural power. He's a heavy-handed, very technical, very technically refined fighter. I think I'd liken maybe Dmitry Bivol to him. I'd say Dmitry Bivol is probably similar. I don't think he's anywhere near as good, and he probably doesn't have the power that Inoue has. But someone similar in that regard, if people might know. I know we're talking sort of obscure fighters, but Inoue is the monster's probably one of my favorite guys at the moment. He's a class act in the ring. No, he's fighting Nonito Donaire next, but yeah, we'll sort of we'll see. I'm expecting him to destroy Nonito anyway as well. Nonito hasn't really fought someone really live. Ryan Burnett sort of had to retire against him due to a freak injury, and he got a late replacement. Zolani Tete, I reckon, would have done an absolute job on him. That's a fight I really want to see: Zolani Tete versus Naoya Inoue, or Inoue versus Luis Nery. That's another fantastic fight. I know Nery's had sort of his drug test, and he's got caught. But I'd still like to see that fight. That would be a proper dust up, I think, to be honest. So I guess we'll just see. I'm just waiting for some of these fights to get made so I can actually, enjoy them and look forward to them. I really look forward to these sort of fights. And just to give up quality content for you guys, I might not make these videos as much, and I know that, and I do apologise. But I'd rather just give you out something that is the truth. It's raw, it's uncut, and it's just sort of my opinion. I know people might not agree, and you can't please everybody, and I just don't really give a fuck about that. Do you know what I mean? It is awesome to sort of. It is awesome to just sort of do my own thing, and I just enjoy what I do. So so we're just going to go back to Tyson Fury. Who really beats him in the heavyweight division? At the moment, I can't see anyone. He's just such a nasty style of fighter to fight. Tall, can move, boxes, evades punches. He's very slippery. He's a switch hits. It's just so awkward to fight. It's horrible to fight. And Wilder struggled against it once, and I think Fury could probably drop another 10, 15 pounds from that Wilder fight. If he does that, I think he does a real job on Wilder. I don't think he'll get caught with. I know those sort of shots. He probably didn't see coming, because Wilder is very quick. He's very awkward, and he has a ridiculous punching power. But I do think that I just do think Tyson Fury can do even better than he did in the last fight. I thought he was, he obviously got knocked down twice, but all the other rounds he won pretty soundly for me, to be honest. So just have some water there. But yeah, I think there isn't anyone out there currently that beats Tyson Fury. No one has the styles. Styles make fights, and for me, I can't see a style at the moment that's going to trouble him, or that's really going to make him take a significant loss or significant sort of hit to his credibility as of current. I think if he gets starched in a couple of rounds, then maybe. But he always been entertaining fights. He's got a lot of heart and resiliency as well, as he showed in that Wilder fight. And yeah, just I know people jump on the bandwagon now, but you should be supporting him. He's done really well. He's trying to bring a belt back to obviously the UK. And yeah, let's see that. Let's see. Hopefully that Wilder the rematch gets made. If not, there's other fights out there. I know everyone wants to see that fight, and so do I. But Joshua's out there. They can make a big fight over here in the UK if that's the case. They could also sort of try and make the Dylan White fight. That would just be entertaining as fuck, to be honest. To watch the press conference would actually be fucking hilarious. But yeah, so I guess we'll just see. I'm fingers crossed that him and Wilder can get the rematch on, get that going, because at the moment they're the two best heavyweights out there, and so we'll just have to sort of pray, keep fingers crossed, and I think they both want the fight. So it's on the teams to make a deal and make a good deal for both parties and try and get the most money possible, because we're in the money making business when we're talking boxing. So that's got to be taken. That's obviously a large factor. It's got to be taken into consideration. Josh Warrington versus Kid Galahad, Barry Awad, whatever you want to call him. Not the most entertaining fight. Zalfa Barrett on the undercards beat Leon Woodstock quite game, but outclassed for the Commonwealth title. And I think there was actually another JJ Metcalf beat Jason Wellborn for the Commonwealth belt as well. So Metcalf done all right, not fantastically, done okay. Maybe Commonwealth, Europeans pushing it, is potentially ceiling, although he's undefeated. So it's just a style of fighting. I don't know. I can't see him move through the gears. But well-worn game. But obviously, he got beaten up towards the end. He done well in his last fight against Jarrett Hurd, but it's in a few fights beforehand. But he's that sort of level. He's a gatekeeper, and he's not going to be, he's not going to be winning world titles. I know he did very well against Jarrett Hurd, but he might have just boxed out of his skin and had the biggest fight for him. But I guess we'll wait and see. With Kid Galahad. I'd say more Kid Galahad and Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington, to be honest, I don't know with him. He's really done well, and I give him that. You know what? I'll give him props. He's done well, and he's become world champion. So congratulations to him. Just do I think he can beat the other top guys in the division? I just can't see it. He has a good work rate. He's solid enough. He can box a little bit. He's got a bit of everything. His engine is probably his best attribute, but I just can't see him. I think Gary Russell would just fiddle around with him and really just figure him out. Fast hands, and Warrington will catch a shot that he's just not. He's not seeing. Kid Galahad, do you know what I mean? I personally scored the fight 7-5 for Kid Galahad. I understand why some people probably edge towards Warrington just because of his work rate. I can understand that. And then, I know people are going to say you need to rip the belt away from the champion and whatever. Fair enough. Like, I totally understand, and I'm not even knocking you guys. You guys, you fucking, you fucking have a point, basically. So you can't discredit that. But at the same time, if you you win the fight. Surely you win the title. You know, you win the fight. You need to win the fight. You need to beat the champion. You've beaten the champion. You win the belt. At the same token, do you know what I mean? It's that's why I think it's just sometimes skewed. Boxing's like that. It's like you need to rip the belt away from the champion. You need to do this. You need to do that. You don't need to fucking do anything. You know, if you win, you win. You lose, you lose. It's as simple as that. I know a lot of people, a hell of a lot of people on Twitter have been going mad at the decision. You know, a lot of people saying it was quite close. Some people had Warrington up. Quite a few people. The consensus was that I sort of gathered from my Twitter feed was that Galahad won. They had Galahad winning like 7-5. Few people had it, you know, 8-4, 9-3, but I couldn't see that. I could see 7-5 sort of, you know, to Galahad. Or could he come again? I don't know. I don't know, because the other guys at the top of the weight class, Oscar Valdez, very possibly. I think he may have a chance. He could fiddle around with Oscar Valdez a fair bit. I always thought Frampton might be a fiddly opponent for someone like Oscar Valdez, and he had a bit of power. Carl Frampton, I think, is coming towards the end. Fantastic fighter. He really grew on me, you know, towards the latter stage of his career now. But yeah, I think he's coming towards the end. But you know, he's a potential another opponent. You know, him versus Kid Galahad for maybe a final eliminator, possibly. I don't know who would win that fight. I'm quite torn on that fight. I'm quite split. But you know, there's fights out there for Galahad. I think he won the fight, but I guess what it is just going back to the drawing board and sort of refocusing and seeing where he could potentially sort of, you know, things he can work on in the gym. Maybe just throw more punches. You know, he done very well and he was slippery and was slick, but I just think the lack of punches probably sway the judges, especially when you have a pressure fighter like Josh Warrington on your, you know, marauding forward and trying to like throw punches. I'm not saying he was catching Galahad, but it still gives the physical impression to a judge that he's the boss, he's pushing the fight, he's the aggressor. So it is just sort of sussing that out and seeing where Galahad could improve. If it is output, he needs to throw more punches. Sort of, you know, it's totally sort of down to his team and such to look at the tape and figure out why they potentially didn't get the decision. But yeah, so that's sort of that. As I said, Zelfa Barrett looked all right. That was a, you know, the loss that he took. That was quite you know, it's hard to bounce back from, especially when you've got a good record, solid record. I know he hasn't been fighting, you know, the best opponents, but he's built up a solid record as such, and tried to you know, make a name for himself. Obviously, he hasn't. It hasn't worked that way, but he'd. You know, he sort of got good when Liam Woodstock is a decent sort of domestic level guy at super featherweight. So I guess we'll see. There's obviously some better guys domestically than Zelfa Barrett, but obviously he's won sort of the Commonwealth belt. Normally we're in the British and Commonwealth in around the same time, and then the European and Worlds. So I guess it's what Uncle Frank wants to do with him. But yeah, so we'll just have to sort of take it as it comes with that one. Harry Cook, great to have you back, Jet. Yeah, the originals, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'm just kind of enjoying what I'm doing and doing my thing when I can, trying to bring you guys real fucking content, real shit. So I appreciate those kind words. It really means a lot. I really do appreciate it. Just to give you guys a sort of a social media rundown as well, please also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. My handles will be in the bottom, maybe updated at some point sort of tomorrow because it's quite late now, but it will be in the description box. Please go follow that. You'll be able to find out when I'm gonna sort of plan to release videos, and you know, sort of days that they'll come out. I'll do a poll on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. Ask me anything. So ask me anything boxing related there. Please do follow me on there. and over on Twitter, just getting some more. Then we can push the channel a bit, further out. We're still on about 420 odd subscribers. Let's push it. Let's try and get some, some really good interaction going on this channel, and really get some real fans, people who want to actually just listen to me just talk a bit of shit. To be honest, because I'm not the most intelligent guy. I don't ever claim to be, but what I am is fucking, I'm just raw. I just say what I want, and I think a lot of people like that. So just let's enjoy ourselves on the channel. That's what it is. I just want to sort of get it to where it should be, and it should be a lot bigger. So let's do that. Let's push it on social media. Follow me. Any questions you have, feel free to let me, to Instagram me or tweet me, whatever. But much appreciated. Modern Broadcast, thumbs up to you too, mate. Good to hear from you, and hope you're well. But yeah, AJ, will he be fighting sort of Ruiz? I know people are sort of mentioning that. Listen, it's not the best style matchup for Joshua, especially the way he fights now. I think pre-Vlad fight, he would have done a real number on Ruiz. I think he could have stood there a bit toe to toe, had a bit more confidence in his punches, and really set up the punches well. Although I just think he wasn't. He's just not the same fighter. He isn't the same fighter. He's just changed his style. It's not that he's got worse or better. It's just he's really refined his style to the point that it's quite difficult for him for me to see him against Ruiz. I'm not saying he's going to lose to Ruiz. If I had to stick my neck out on the line, I think Joshua would win. Although I think if he does win, it'll be very, very, very hard work. Because Ruiz, I just think that Ruiz is, he's not just a counter puncher, and he's got fast hands. He was waiting for Joshua's counter punch and spinning that off, and he was really, really sort of reading Joshua's counters. He was reading him, and he was timing him with the fast punches as well, the fast combinations. It befuddled Joshua. I think I know in the first the first knockdown that Joshua took after Joshua knocked down Ruiz. Sorry, after that, I think it was difficult. He was always up against it. He didn't look the same, and I think he may have been concussed. He may not have been. I don't know. I'm not privy to those information. I don't think they're gonna tell me like shit like that anyway, unless I know AJ himself. But what I will say is he was completely befuddled. He went in for the kill, like he would normally do. Fair enough. Although I don't know. He looked a bit. He wasn't there. I don't know. He got caught on the temple, I think, or the top of the head. So, that does completely discombobulate you, and it does really rattle your brains in that regard. So maybe it was just a bit of that, but he was asking some weird questions, I think. So very likely it looks like a concussion by the looks of it or what it sounds of it. Although I don't know, some of the corner work, as I said, like Ben Davison compared to Rob McCracken, I know people are going to say, Carl Froch, British Hall of Famer, and fair fucking play, say your piece, but I don't give a fuck in this instance, because if you're Rob McCracken in that corner, you've got to tell AJ, set this punch up. He's trying to counter you. You've got to set traps and try and lure him in. If you're going to counter punch, you're going to have to try and lure him in and time him. Do you know what I mean? You've got to give him constructive advice. If that's Ben Davison in the corner, and that's not me saying, as I said, I like Fury, I like Joshua, but it's just, and he wants to fight anyone, and I got to respect it, and I fucking do. But like his corner, I don't know. There's something not right there in that corner. I don't think he's getting the correct advice. He's obviously become a unified world champion, and I'm not saying that at all. But I just think the last couple of fights, they just haven't. It's not been the same. It's not been the same. Maybe even going back to the Povetkin fight, I think. The Povetkin fight definitely as well. Like I don't know. He got caught in the first round. He got buzzed in the first round.
they just immediately just capitulated in the corner. I don't know. It's the Matchroom, Joshua's team, Joshua himself, family, whatever. They must know a lot more than they know a lot more than myself, obviously. But I don't know. It was just a bit strange. I think he's showing big balls going into the rematch straight away. Fair play, but it's a lot closer fight, especially with Ruiz is probably going to have that. He's going to have that confidence. He's really going to try and crack on and push on and try and defend his belt. First ever Mexican American heavyweight champion of the world. He wants to make a point now. He's got a point to prove that. You've got you try to beat me up once, didn't work. Had a Snickers bar, I fucked you up again. Do you know what I mean? So he's trying to really, really stamp his mark and really push on for another big fight, because he'll make money. He'll make good money from this Joshua rematch, and then if he potentially wins, there's potential for even more, big paydays, and he can set up his family up. He can set his family up, for the rest of their life, and their life. So of course it's a big thing. Of course it's a massive thing, but you gotta respect it. You've got to respect it. Got about 5-10 minutes left, and I'm gonna wrap up. So, any questions? Feel free to just pop them down in the live chat. If not, as I said, I've answered some of sort of the main stuff that's been going on. Andrew Tabiti actually lost to was it Junior Dorticos? Dorticos starches him, I think, in the final round. Absolutely lays him out. I think Tabiti was unconscious for a couple of seconds. But good win for Dorticos. Solid fighter. Don't think, I know Usyk's moved up and whatnot. I don't think he's the A grade guy. Sorry, I'm a bit tired there. At cruiser. But he's a very sort of entertaining fighter. He always goes with a knockout, and he's got some really, really good power in those fists. So he's a very solid fighter. And I think, an entertaining fighter. So congratulations to Dorticos for winning the IBF cruiserweight title. Well done. And Bradis also for Glowacki. I know Sherry Abbasi will love me mentioning that. But that was just a bit of a messy fight. Bradis was very dirty in that fight. He got away with a lot. He elbowed Glowacki. He was awful in that fight. And I think the Usyk fight was probably his crowning moment. I think he really just sort of that was his shining light. He didn't really. He's not going to get any better than that. So that's kind of my take on Maurice Bradis. But yeah, I think he won WBO world title. So fair play to him. He's another two-time world champion, I think. So yeah, fair dues. There was a couple other fights, I think. I had it ready. Jesse Hart moved up to 175. Didn't look the greatest. Beat Barrera on a decision. Knockdown was a bit dubious as well there. But that was one of those ones. It is what it is. Barrera's kind of past it for now. Briefly, Jarrell Miller. I don't know who's sort of seen what, and sorry, I've just lost my place. Sorry, who's seen what about the sort of the video they released on IFL TV about Jarrell Miller and his failed drugs test? It's about a 40-minute interview. Fairly decent. I watched the entirety of it and sat down. You know what? I myself, I don't really sort of judge, maybe because I've been judged my whole life, but I don't really give a shit. It's boxing. This sort of shit happens all the time now. The PED scandal, and I'm not saying it's right because it obviously isn't. The way he's explained it, of course, and
he's actually tried. It's not even the way he's explained it. He made a mistake and he's accepted it for what it was. But in terms of like what he's trying to do now, he's voluntarily paying out of his own pocket to VADA to try and rectify this issue that he's put himself in. And he's like, look, I fucked up. It's my fault. And all you can do is actually just give him that. You can only give him that. He's actually tried to make amends and fair fucking play to him. I'll be the first person to say straight away, own up to mistake. It's only right. It's fair. What? Shake their hand or just big up to you, sir. Big up to you, Mr. Miller, because it takes a big person to sort of accept that, and it's not even a lot of people. I know a lot of other people. Povetkin was a dodgy one. Well, I took it when it was going on the ban list or some whatever bullshit excuse he gave. He's a doper. He's a complete doper. Like that's just horrendous. He was awful, and I have no sympathy for him. How do you think all these years his knockouts? His knockout. He went from not being a puncher to being a ferocious puncher. If you look at his physique change as well, there you go. That's all the ammo that I need in that regard. And then he got popped. There you go. Simple as that. But as I said, it happens to everybody. It's happened to the biggest fighters. It's just sometimes that's just the game, and you get popped. It just depends on how much money you have behind you, and obviously Miller didn't really have he had a promoter with Eddie Hearn, obviously. He hasn't really had that backing from a sponsor or whatever, or a massive sponsor. So obviously he's not really had someone to sort of deflect, or someone to take his blame and deflect it outwards, or kind of soak it in. He's probably had to soak a lot of it in himself. So it takes a big person to appreciate that he was in the wrong. He made a mistake. He's trying to rectify it, and he's trying to do it the right way. He's really trying to, make sure he's learned from this. And if he messes up again, then that's on him. Then you probably know he's messing about, or someone maybe, unless it's absolutely legitimate, then what I mean. You can only go by what it is. I don't know enough about PDs, but you just want to see the sport as clean as possible. But the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of people juicing out there, a lot of top pros there. So you can't really stop it. It's just inevitable, and you hope there's any tragedies and accidents are never around the corner, or they're never the next fight away. So hopefully, as I said, hopefully the sanctioning bodies actually weigh in. The drug organization, sorry, they make the difference, and they really push the agenda over a clean sport. But sort of sanctioning bodies, they're all shit. I get asked so many times. I got asked by a friend of mine, actually, because they saw two WBA belts. He was like, "Is they not similar?" And I was just like, "They actually are." So and it was looking at a regular champion. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who it was, but it might have been Naoya Inoue. But there was no sort of, I don't know what's happening with the super belt. I think he's the only WBA champion at the moment, but he was on some WBA regular. It must have come up on the screen. I think maybe on Sky Sports or something. It was ridiculous. And he's like, "What's regular?" And I was like, "It's some fake world title." I was like, "It's literally just a version of a world title. It's like half a world title, if that. It's just absolute bollocks. Like, no one even knows. No one wants to fight a regular world champion when the super champion is going to be better anyway in all ways, shape, and form." But obviously, it is what it is. Like, it's just another way for a fucking sanctioning body to make money. And then if you're like the WBO that has like their 50 million trinket international belts, and somehow Anthony Yard gets number one mandatory position through WBO trinket belts, then you know something's wrong. And I'm not hating on Anthony Yard at all, because I really don't give a fuck. I'm just looking forward to that fight against Sergey Kovalev. But yeah, it's just fucking pathetic. You know, Uncle Frank probably has them in their pocket, and he probably end up fucking taking this down. But you know, I don't give a shit. It's just embarrassing. You can't. You know, he has to have at least one opponent. I mean, Kell Brook fought absolutely nobody until he beat Sean Porter, and he beat Sean Porter, and that's probably one of the best names on his resume. And obviously, it worked for him. I'm not saying it can't work for Yard, but Yard, I feel like, has fought even worse opposition than Kell Brook fought up until Sean Porter. So it's just like I don't know how they're setting him up for, you know, Sergey Kovalev, who looked very good in his last fight. I still think, obviously, the Ward fights, I think mentally, the mind game as well, just played big on his mind. Is pretty average stamina. And yeah, Mon Broadcast says rumors on Twitter tonight is Kell Brook has retired. Am I surprised? Not really. He's probably taken a lot of damage, but he is. I don't know. I don't know what's happened to him. If he dug his heels in for certain fights, but there's a lot of fights I feel like he could have. You know, I would have loved to see him in, just to see how well he done. You know, against these guys, could he have won? Could he have beat them? That GGG fight, I think, will always live in the memory that, you know, he busted him up. Like, Kell Brook did well for you know, a welterweight essentially, or you know, a small light middleweight or super welterweight, whatever you want to call it. But you know, GGG was always going to bust him up, like really do a number on him, and it's kind of sad to see the demise. He done so well in the Errol Spence fight. 7th round came, he was completely out. You know, he was completely gone. He was completely gassed, and you have to feel a bit sorry. I think the GGG fight just took so much out of him as well. Obviously, came down after a heavy weight cut, heavy muscle cut as well. It's quite tough to lose that weight in sort of a natural, but you know, you're not losing everything. You're not losing all your sort of energy as well. You're just losing the necessary muscle. It's quite hard to get down in that regard and become a bit leaner like that. Especially in a 12-week camp, is tough, very tough. So yeah, I don't know. It always be what if with Kell Brook. I think so many people talk about him, but you know, potentially was replacing Carl Froch and Tony Bellew and all these guys with you know, becoming the pay-per-view star for the UK. Just turned out to be Joshua, and Joshua's just ridden the wave and become a celebrity. Kell Brook's just kind of like flip-flop into an out of obscurity, and it's quite sad to see his career the way it's panned out. But you know, we'll see with Kell Brook. I don't know if he'll retire. If he stay retired, he'll come back. We'll just have to you know, play that one by ear, and you never know what these guys say. A lot of these boxers and stuff say a lot of things, and it doesn't turn out the way they say. So take everything with a pinch of salt. I'll say that that is important to know. But yeah, as I said, I think that sort of wraps it up for me tonight. I'm going to head off. It was, as I said, it was just more so to follow, so to just discuss the boxing that went on. Over the weekend. There was a good few fights. As I said, I kept up to date with pretty much all of it. As I said, I'm not always home, so it's quite tough to keep up to date and make sure to sit down. So I just have to set time on a Sunday sometimes to try and get it out of the way. If not, I get it done on a Monday after work, and it's quite tiring because I get home at quite late hours. So I'm obviously just trying to, as I said, just bring you guys proper quality shit, not just absolute fucking trash garbage. You know what I mean? I'm actually trying to discuss the boxing in some actual objectivity as well. I don't really have an opinion for or against the fighter, unless, you know what I mean, I really don't like that fight or their style or something that puts me off, or the way they act or whatever. It's something always is the case, but normally I try to just look at fights objectively and try to just, who's got a better chance of winning, who does this better, who does that. Styles make fights, X, Y, and Z, So, as I said, I hope sort of all the people that do watch this live show go out, appreciate it. It was quite fun, as I said, to get back into it, try and do more of these, and shout out to you 5 people who've been watching for a good while. Just want to say, big up you guys. You guys are absolute legends. But I think that calls it. I'm gonna call it a day there. Thank you to everyone. As I said, I mentioned sort of in the middle of the show. Just go follow me on in the social medias, down in the description below. Go share this with all your all your boxing friends, family, whatever. Go do that, and I promise I will. Any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask me. I will respond. Love bit boxing. Football. I love my football as well. So I'm just obviously, training for pre-season, getting ready for the new season. But as I said, just let me know. 7 people watching now. You guys are awesome. You guys are the best. But yeah, so just keep pushing the channel. Let's keep pushing this. It's just it's not just me. It's the people who view me, all the people who listen to my videos and support and really push the agenda. You guys are the real heroes. Honestly, I just sit in front of a screen and talk absolute fucking shit for however long I want. But it's you guys who actually appreciate what I do, listen to it, and appreciate the insight I try to bring. I'm not the most intelligent guy, but I try to speak sense, try to look at it objectively and be fair with my sort of analysis with it. But as I said, shout out you guys. You guys just are the best, and thank you for continuing to support. I had a long absence. I came back, and you guys have just really made it, a really smooth transition. Thank you. And to all the people that I know that do sort of hate on the channel, there's a good couple of people. You guys are fucking awesome as well, man. Honestly, because if you didn't do that, I would not sort of love what I do, enjoy what I do. I can't please everybody, but I honestly love sort of doing this and just making sure people enjoy their sort of boxing content by myself. But thank you to everybody again. Just like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff. Share it, and we'll be back maybe later on in the week. We'll see how it goes. But as I said, follow my social medias, and you'll know my when I'm going to drop a video, when I'm about to drop a video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you have a great evening. Take care.